Okay, hopefully this is working. I've managed to find out why I was having problems yesterday. My iPhone, the connection where I connect the iPhone to the internet is very loose. It's supposed to be a high quality product, but it doesn't have a very good connection, which goes straight from the phone to the lightning adapter. So when I push it further, it seems to start working. Anyway, I've got it leaning against some books again. I hope everything is clear. I've tried to wipe the camera today. If it's not clear, can somebody say? I think there are 6 people here at the moment. Please let me know if you think it's not very clear. I hope the writing is clear. Let me see. Hello, Abdul Munaim. Is it clear, Abdul? It doesn't look very clear to me. Let me try giving it another rub with my special cloth. Can you see the words okay there? It doesn't look very clear when I look at it on... This camera should be better than the camera the other day, so try giving it a little rub. Okay, is that better? Can you see the writing on the board, everybody? Okay, I hope that's clear. It doesn't look fantastic, it really doesn't. Let me see. Okay, well, I don't know what else I can do other than rub the camera again, rub the lens. I don't know if there's something I can press on here to perhaps make it, what's that? No. Okay. It is a little bit blurry, isn't it, Fari? I don't know how to sort that. Does anybody know what I can do with my phone to try and make it less blurry? Is there something that I can press? Because it seemed like it was better with the front-facing camera than this camera. And this is why I wanted to do this today, because I want to try and get it so that it's a good quality picture. Does anybody have any suggestions? There are 9 of you here now. I'm sure some of you use phones for making videos. Does anyone have any suggestions for how I can get rid of that blurry image? Because it's definitely still quite blurry. Quality is okay. Alright then, well, I'll carry on like this. I'd like it to be really good. As I say, it was an expensive phone, so I was hoping I'd get a perfect picture, just as good as the other camera which I use anyway. Let's get started. So, number 1, I'd like to mention one more important moment. Grammatically, this is correct, but the way that the student used this was certainly wrong, because one moment is a moment in time. A moment is a moment in time. It's a point in time. If you're talking about different factors in an argument, different issues in an argument, then you don't need to use this word moment. You need to use the word point. I'd like to mention one more important point, one more important fact, one more important thing. It's not moment. A moment is for wait a moment, or I'll do it in a moment, or at the moment I am studying. So moment is a moment in time. It's not a point in an argument. Please remember that. So if you're talking about different facts to back up your argument, please use the word point. Okay, number 2. Young people hear their friends' advices. I hope you can see there's actually 2 mistakes here. Yeah, it seems to be okay. There are actually 2 mistakes. There's a mistake here, and there's a mistake here. So, advice is uncountable in English. It may be countable in your language. I know it's countable in Russian, but it's uncountable in English, so you really shouldn't say advices. It's always incorrect. But this word is wrong as well, because when we're talking about obeying their friend's advice, or following their friend's advice, that would be a better word than obey, following their friend's advice, we don't use the word hear. We use the word listen to. Young people listen to their friend's advice. Okay, on to number 3. Last night, there's the important signal. Last night, we know when. Last night, our discussion has lasted 2 hours. Now, the problem is that we don't use present perfect when we know when. This is a very common mistake, and I've spoken about it a few times before. And I'm sure your English teachers speak about this very often. And it's important. If you know or say when something happened, we just use past simple. Even if you say how long that was, if it's finished, then you have to use past simple. So we are saying how long here, but we mustn't use present perfect because we're saying when. It was last night. That's a finished moment in time. It's not an unfinished period of time, and therefore past simple, please. Okay, number 4. Can you pick up this, or can you throw away them? Both of these are wrong. And they're both wrong for the same reason. Pick up is a separable phrasal verb. Throw away is a separable phrasal verb. And what that means is you have to separate the verb and the preposition when you use a pronoun like it, this, him, her, them. Okay, you've got to say throw it away and not throw away it. You've got to say pick it up and not pick up this or pick up it. Any pronouns have to go in the middle. Nouns can go either side, like can you pick up the rubbish, can you pick the rubbish up, both correct. But pronouns like this, it, him, or her, they have to go in between if it's a separable phrasal verb, and pick up and throw away are both separable phrasal verbs. Okay, I'll just come behind to see if anybody's made any more points. The screen still looks bad to me. I hope it's better on your end than it is on my end, because it still looks very blurry. I'll have to try to do some more work on it. Perhaps after this lesson we'll do something else live, and we'll try and sort it out, because I would like to get this fixed. Okay, number 5. We didn't see each other for a long time. Now this is an unfinished period. This is a how long. For is always a signal that you're saying how long something lasts. So while, and by the way, we can say for here. Last night our discussion lasted for 2 hours, but we don't need to with lasted. Think about it. You can just say it lasted 2 hours. Thinking about it, it's probably best not to say for. But here we're saying for a long time. It's an unfinished period, and so we mustn't use past simple. Here we do need present perfect. Haven't seen each other for a long time. So please remember, these present perfect signals make it much easier to use that tense. But any unfinished period you'll use present perfect with. Okay, here I tell them off. Notice the pronoun in between the separable phrasal verb. That's the correct way of using a phrasal verb which is separable. I tell them off when they are doing faces. The student was talking about children, and he was talking about when children make faces. And so we don't say doing faces, we say making a face, making faces, when you're kind of sticking your tongue out or, you know, making a silly face. Number 7, we are thinking to buy a flat. This is very common. A lot of people think is +2 plus infinitive, but it's not. It's think of. When you're planning something, we're thinking of going on holiday in July, we're thinking of buying a flat. Don't forget that it's gerund after preposition. Always true, more or less. So please don't forget that rule. It's such a useful rule, gerund after preposition. Okay, number 8, 10 people were died. This is a passive active mistake because we just say 10 people died. But you can say 10 people were killed. And I think that's the confusion that the student's making. They're mixing up kill and die. We say 10 people died or 10 people were killed. So make sure you don't make mistakes with active and passive. Okay, number 9, he discovered that she had had a relation with another man. The main mistake here is this word, a relation. We need a relationship if we're talking about a romantic relationship. I don't think we'd ever say relation. You might say sexual relations. I remember that particular phrase being used for Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky years ago. But in ordinary everyday English we talk about a relationship if we mean a loving relationship or a sexual relationship. you still use the word relationship and not relation. We can say international relations when we're talking about relationships between different countries, relations between different countries. Then relation and relationship become pretty much the same. But here, it's not acceptable, a relationship with another man and not a relation with another man. And by the way, we do say your relations are your relatives. And again, there's not much difference between relations and relatives, meaning people in your family. Okay, number 10, I have decided to pass an exam in August. Well, that's very hopeful. If you say pass an exam, remember, that means that you've already been given your marks and you've passed. If you say fail an exam, you've already been given the marks and you've failed. But you've decided to take an exam in August, okay? Not to pass an exam in August, but to take an exam. Because take is the word we use when we just mean actually sitting down and writing the answers to the questions. That's take an exam. You only find out if you pass afterwards. And so, of course, we all plan on passing exams. But in a sentence like this, we wouldn't say pass. We would just say, I've decided to take an exam in August. Okay, that's all I've got for you with common mistakes. But I do want to try to sort out this picture on the phone. So, let me lift up the camera. It looks okay. Can I have any comments about the screen? Is it blurry? There's a 4 plus noun and 2 plus verb is the answer to that. But I would like a little help first of all with the blurriness. It's not blurry, no. Nadthapong says it's not blurry. Does anybody else have a comment? Screen is good. Fantastic. I'm really pleased to hear it. That's what I like to hear. Okay, so the difference between 4 and 2. Oh, Tony Cox. Tony, what are you doing there? I know you. There's someone from England, a native speaker. So, hi Tony, thanks for tuning in today. The difference between 4 and 2 is this. 4 is plus noun, 2 is plus verb. Yeah, let's quickly write this down. I can give you a couple of examples quickly as well with this one. It's quite an easy one. So, you could say, I went to the shops for some milk, or I went to the shops to buy some milk. Yeah, just as a quick one. I went to the shops for some milk, or I went to the shops to buy some milk. 4 plus noun, 2 plus verb. That's the general rule, yeah? So just quickly write that sentence. I went to the shops. Why? I mean, they both answer the question why. But you'd say 4 and a noun, or 2 plus a verb. Why did you go to the shops? I went to the shops for some milk or to buy some milk. For milk or to buy milk. Okay, that's the simple answer to that question. Do you have any other questions? Let me turn this around, hold on. It does say poor connection to me. Orientation is locked. Oh, whoopsie daisy. So it does say poor connection on my side. Is it a poor connection for anybody else out there? Okay, could you please explain the difference between police? Police are, government is. So the police is an institution that in England we always say the police are, really. The police are investigating the crime. We would only say the policeman is, because the police is considered a collective noun and we think of them as a group of policemen. However, it is true that with a lot of singular nouns, you ought to use a singular verb. Yeah, thank you, Tony. Thanks for answering there. Tony's right, of course. The police are a group of people. But with a word like government, I would usually use is. The government is. Really, this is, yeah, I mean, I agree that it's counterintuitive that we should say the police are, but the government is, because they're both collective nouns. With most collective nouns, I would try to use a singular verb. But with the police, especially with an article before it, the police, it really is a group of policemen you're talking about, and you ought to use a plural verb always. The police are. But I agree that that's quite illogical, considering that with most collective nouns we ought to use a singular verb. Okay, any other questions? No? Well, it says poor connection my side, so I'm going to finish here and see if I can work out why it's poor connection. Some advice is okay, yeah, some advice is good. You can't say many advices, because many is for countable nouns. Okay, any other questions? Last chance? No? Okay, well, I'm going to finish here then. I'll see everybody a bit later, and I hope to, please give the video a like if you've enjoyed this video, and I'm going to check it out now on YouTube and see for myself whether it's blurry or not. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope to see you all soon.